to F up my summer in 97 and you decide to get the surgery. And I remember in 98, he missed the first 3-4 months of the season. I remember that.
So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the podcast. I'm here with Tyrone and Hollis, so hopefully Melanie will be able to join us later. But it's been a while. Been a couple of weeks, actually. I think a week or two, or maybe a week and a half since we were able to come back to you.
Yeah, it's been a while, man.
Talks a lot
guys,
of things.
You guys okay?
Yeah, we good. A lot of things that transpired throughout this whole NBA playoffs and stuff like that, and sports in general. But we got to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the Brooklyn Nets. Unfortunately, they did not make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They were like a jump shot or a big toe away from making it. Shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks. They're doing what they're supposed to do now. I think Trae Young is hurt, so he's not playing tonight. But I kind of am leaning towards them to maybe win it all, depending who comes out the West. But it looking like I still think the Suns are going to win, but we'll talk about that. But I just want to give credit where credit's due. Give a shout out to Kevin Durant, who single-handedly carried the team throughout this playoffs, especially through the series when Kyrie went down with Giannis. He did. What I'm saying? It's out that type joint. And who else? And then James Harden playing on a leg. On one leg. So he did do what he could. I'm saying? I think they're going to make a few moves. I already know we lost one of our assistant coaches. He's going to coach. What team he's going to coach again? I forgot what team he's going to coach. But he's going to coach Celtics. Yes, Celtics.
He made Udoka.
Yeah, he's going to go coach the Celtics. So congratulations to him. It was funny because Jay Will said something like the first black coach in the Celtics history. I'm like, yo,
No, it's not. No, it's not. Yeah. Casey Jones. Yeah. Do your history, Jay Williams. Exactly. Casey Jones was the 1986 Boston Celtic coach. You better come fact check with me because I'm a historian.
Yeah,
watch himself. You know what I'm talking about.
He was just wild and saying something.
And ML Carr was also a coach in the '90s for the Celtics. They were pretty. Yeah. They weren't that great at the time, but he don't know what he's talking about, man.
Exactly. So
and for my bad, not to bring it up. Not. There you go. The first black coach in history was a Boston Celtic player. Yeah. Like, what is he talking about, man?
He just probably like opened up a newspaper and just said it real quick just to try to get a headline, but he kind of messed up on that. But yeah, that said, like I said, next year, I think as long as we're healthy, the Nets is the team to beat. So I know that we won't be struggling as much against the Hawks, but it is what it is. So just, giving you guys a shout out. So Hollis, so you go ahead and give your piece on that.
Yeah, so, give y'all condolences. Look at you guys. Look at you. I'll let y'all talk.
All right, first off, I want to congratulate Milwaukee, winning. Like Michael said, KD was a big toe away from, winning the whole series, but it's all good though. Injuries is part of basketball. I'm not using that as no excuse, but Kyrie had the ankle, Harden had the hamstring, two hamstring injury. KD just showed I've been saying he was the best player in the world over LeBron, but because he's my favorite player, but he really came back from that Achilles injury. People doubted him, saying he will not be the same, and look what he did. He played every minute in Game 5. He dropped 49 points. He did the same. He was just killing since he been back. But congrats to Milwaukee. Joe Harris. I hope you would have caught a little spark, but it happens. But, hopefully next year we'll be back stronger and healthier, and with some new pieces on the squad, and we can win the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. I mean, I agree. I mean, I'm so excited about Bruce Brown that game. I do feel there needs to be some coaches changes. I mean, not as far as getting rid of Steve Nash. I believe that Steve Nash eventually is going to figure this out. But there was some critical moments in Game 7 as well as that game that they lost when Kyrie went down in Milwaukee that could have put us up 3-1. That I felt that it was a coaching mishap that could have fixed those things. If he was took a timeout,
small adjustments.
I'm saying small adjustments. Even in that Game 7, we had a good 3 minutes in overtime. We had the lead. Take a timeout, give you guys a break. Let them get a set play so we can score the basketball and be up 2 possessions as opposed to just 1. And also, even before that last 12 seconds when KD shot that air ball, call a timeout. Let him catch his breath.
Mm-hmm.
Let him get a chance to get a set play. Even if it wasn't designed for him to take the shot, we'd have had a better look as opposed to just wrestling that shot out. And I do feel that, it's a learning experience for him. But, you can see his rookie head coachness being displayed. So hopefully, next year, God willing, the Nets will, like I said, pick up the pieces, add some good pieces that, on the team I do like, Blake Griffin on the team. I feel bad for DeAndre Jordan, but I think they're going to move on from him. You know what I mean? And, I know Dinwiddie want to test free agency, so he's going to probably be gone. And we just need to, really, shore up.
Hopefully they can do a sign and trade with him to get something back.
Exactly. Just shore up a few spots on the team, and I think we should be good. So, yeah.
Milwaukee,
so
Chris Middleton is the reason why Milwaukee's in the conference finals right now. Not because of Giannis. Chris Middleton, he got on my damn nerves that whole series, but he's proven he's up there.
He stepped up, and I'll let Tom say his piece. I know he's salivating at that. But just a real quick to touch on the Chris Middleton part is that, look, man, he stepped up. He's playing well, but we can't take the shine away from Giannis. Giannis is the backbone of that team. He's the one who carries that team. Yeah, he has some shortcomings with the free throws and, maybe not taking the last shot the right way or doing certain things, but he is that team. He made that team what it is. And right now, his supporting cast, they're playing well. They're playing well, especially Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton saved them for that last game. So they could have been down 2-1. Now they up 2-1. So, I give props when it's props to do, you know what I'm saying? And we'll see what happens moving forward in this series. But yeah, Tyrone, go ahead and say your piece. I know you waited. So go ahead.
I just hear a lot of somber talking. There was a lot of chest. Y'all guys had y'all chest poked out all season, man. I've been hearing y'all run y'all mouth all year, man. Now I'm hearing, maybe we gotta try, we gotta get these players in here, this, that, and the third. I'm hearing a lot of, but what happened? Y'all was good though. It didn't matter if one star was out. Y'all could have did this. Listen, man. Let me tell you something. You guys were supposed to win that series. Yeah, I get it. Bruce Brown screwed up when he didn't pass the ball to KD, and then Kyrie got hurt in that same game, I believe. But
yes, Giannis went under him. Yeah.
Joe Harris, he got to take a lot of blame because he couldn't make a shot if you paid him. He was missing open shots. And you got to remember too, right? Another issue I had with the Brooklyn Nets is Milwaukee's rebounding. The Brooklyn Nets had no bigs, and they do have a big. I don't care what anybody says. I know DeAndre Jordan is not the same player he once was, but you have to play him. When you got big Brook Lopez playing and Giannis, you have to have a big body there. Even Claxton, you have to put more, you have to give them more minutes. I get it. You wanna try to out, the way the game's played now is small ball and they want to shoot threes. The Brooklyn Nets were shooting a lot of threes and depending on KD a lot. But you gotta have some big men. You gotta have bigs there to get some of those rebounds. They're not gonna make every shot. And Brook Lopez and them was getting them, and Giannis, they was getting a lot of rebounds in that series. You gotta play these guys. And then when I thought about it for a second, I realized who was on the bench for the Brooklyn Nets. Mike D'Antoni, who's always known for not playing bigs. Who's the head coach, Steve Nash, a protege, not a protege, but him and D'Antoni, they're real tight and they have the same kind of philosophies. I think the issue with the Brooklyn Nets was they didn't play their bigs. And I think that contributed to a lot of things going, because Brook Lopez, it's not like he averaged 10, 15 rebounds a game, but you got to put a body on him. Like Blake Griffin and Jeff Green could do but so much offensive rebounding or defensive rebounding. I saw a lot of offensive rebounds from Milwaukee in that series. And had you had a DeAndre Jordan in that game, you're not looking for DeAndre to get you 10, 12 points. You just need him to box out and get some rebounds. He's still good at that.
Yeah.
So my issue was that, even Claxton wasn't too bad. You could have played Claxton. And this is where Jared Allen comes back to haunt you guys. Even though you guys got a James Harden, you guys have Jared Allen, you guys not. And I was kind of against the trade a little bit, but when you think about it now, did you really need to make that trade? Do you really think that KD would have had to do all of that if Karis LeVert, Jared Allen were on that team? I'm not saying Karis LeVert is James Harden by no stretch of the imagination, and I know Karis had got, he had the injury. I forgot what the cancerous thing.
The kidney.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, the kidney. Right. He had the kidney issue. So I understand he would have missed a big chunk anyway. But just think about it. Like the Jared Allen thing was a big loss. Although you had to do what you had to do to get a guy like James Harden. And we all know, yes, Kyrie was playing. If at least Kyrie was playing, that series was over.
It was over.
There's no way y'all were losing.
Yeah.
But I look back now, you got to make adjustments when you guys have players that go down. And James Harden was basically playing on one foot. You got to play your bigs, man. I was watching every time I saw offensive rebound, I'm there saying, and they have DeAndre Jordan on the bench. I just didn't get it. But then it goes back to Houston. I remember when they traded Clint Capella. And you guys heard me talk about that last year. Why would they trade Clint Capella for Robert Covington? I'm not saying they would have beat the Lakers that year, but they would have gave Anthony Davis some trouble.
Yeah.
Even Tyson Chandler was on the bench. You could have threw Tyson and they could have gave you 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's the way it's D'Antoni, man.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because I agree with you 100%. I was saying that too, like why DeAndre Jordan not playing? I mean, look, we need defense. And I understand, matchups, is key. So he might not be as, mobile to guard like a pick and roll or and he might get put on the small and get blown by. I can understand that. But if you look at it from the perspective, like you said, when Brook Lopez and Giannis were playing at the same time, even if you would have had KD on the floor guarding like a PJ Tucker, DeAndre Jordan could guard Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is not an explosive, guy. He has some good footwork.
Exactly.
But he's not really explosive. You could have put him on him and then also put Blake Griffin on. I think Blake Griffin did a decent job on Giannis. I just felt that he did get caught a lot of time facing. He got in foul trouble. James Harden even guarded Giannis pretty well some possessions. But like you said, it's like if Kyrie wasn't hurt, it was a done deal. We would have beat them in 5. Straight up. You know what I mean? The firepower was too lethal. Kyrie Irving's another guy could score at the rim, could score, shoot threes, could get to the basket, his own shot at whenever he wants.
And KD wouldn't have to carry the load
exactly.
like that.
And even
because he was straight. He was done after once it went to overtime, he was done.
Yeah, he was done. He was done. And
his whole body, the energy sapped out of his body. You saw the look on his face when he saw that it was a 2. He was done. I knew they were going to lose because he was done.
So I was screaming in my house so loud when he hit that shot. I was like, yeah, because I thought it was a 3. And when you look at the replay, his freaking foot is on that line. So it's like the whole thing. There's not even a piece of daylight. It would have been next season.
Because y'all needed that. Y'all did not have a chance in overtime. They had too much firepower compared to y'all. Because you had nothing but Durant. It was Durant versus the Bucks.
Yeah.
Because Joe Harris couldn't do nothing. I think Blake fouled out in that game.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure.
Fouled out. He fouled out that game, and I think who else fouled out in that game?
Blake was the only other guy.
Yeah.
Blake was the only other guy.
Playing tall foots.
Harden couldn't do anything. He couldn't move.
Harden had a sneaky 20, but the problem with him, he couldn't guard nobody. And
Harden was just
he was just there as a decoy. His shots were flat.
Exactly. Harden was there to be a decoy for Durant. That's all he was there for. He tried to look out for his boy. And I appreciate that because we all know he wasn't anything like what he is. And he went out there and he said, I'm not going to leave my man out there like that by himself. So I salute James Harden for that. So we give James Harden a pass. He was hurt. He had they said it was a grade 2 calf string or hamstring. Hamstring. So, and you can't play with the hamstring like that.
It's tough to even get moving. And I didn't even got no hamstring issue, but I have this slight little tightness in my back and sciatica pain. So I could barely even walk when I got out the car yesterday. So I can understand how he's playing through a hamstring. And I give him props to that. But like you said, I do feel there's a lot of coaching mistakes that I think the Nets were doing. And, have DeAndre Jordan there and not play him, or at least give you something. Claxton, they played him a few times, but they stopped playing him, I guess, because of matchups as well.
That's that D'Antoni style. Listen, man, that's straight a D'Antoni style right there. Because you saw what they did last year with the Rockets. He played PJ Tucker as a 5.
Yeah. So my thing is that Nash gotta figure this out, and I think they're gonna make some decent moves on the offseason. And I do whether it's I know they said Jacque Vaughn decided to stay there. He's not taking any head coaching gigs, and you know what I mean. We still gonna have D'Antoni unless he gets hired somewhere else, which I doubt. But we just need to really focus on shoring up the thing. I know they were talking about some people untouchable. You know what I mean? I do hope that they don't trade the big 3 because I do think it could work, and I would do that trade in a heartbeat. The only caveat to that, like I said, when the trade happened, was Jared Allen, because I feel like Jared Allen, he was an essential piece to the team, but he was a hard-nosed big. He can grab rebounds, he can defend well, he can block shots, he can good rim protector, and he was somebody that I felt that could have been utilized. But I guess they realized that, look, we have Nicholas Claxton, young guy. You know what I mean? Versatile big, we'll use him and get rid of Jared Allen because Jared Allen was a higher, commodity as opposed to him. But switching gears, using that as a segue, a legend is Scottie Pippen. I respect Scottie Pippen. Being Chicago Bulls, he's part of my favorite team growing up. The Chicago Bulls, who worked alongside Michael Jordan. But recently, he's been coming out saying some really crazy stuff and really getting at a lot of the young players. He got at Ben Simmons, he got at Doc Rivers, he got at Kevin Durant. So speaking on the Kevin Durant front, he was saying that Kevin Durant is not like LeBron. He don't know how to utilize his teammates and blah, 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 and et cetera, et cetera. And Kevin Durant, snapped back then. I'm talking about stuff that you saw in the Last Dance with him, like, yo, I want to come in because the plays were bad, and the play was drawn up for him, and saying that he's a real leader, and saying that Phil Jackson is racist, and all this other stuff like that. So Scottie Pippen is really coming out saying some wild stuff. But I wanted to get you guys' opinion on that because I kind of think that Scottie is kind of reaching when he was talking about Durant. I do believe that Durant was being a decent playmaker at times, and his guys wasn't making the shots. So it's like there's nothing else you could do. And even if LeBron was in a similar situation, it'll probably been the same outcome. Because if the guys ain't making shots, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he might get him a layup or two, but the guys ain't making shots, and a wide open 3-point shots that you get in the ball, there's nothing you can really do. So I want to get Hollis to Tyrone and then
all right, so Scottie Pippen, we speak for all of us. We all love Scottie to death. We love him, a legend. But the stuff he's been saying is out of control. I'm assuming he's probably doing this because he has a book coming out soon. I forgot exactly when. So there could be like, all right, get some some kind of promotion for his book. But the whole thing talk about Durant not utilizing his teammates is kind of pretty much simple. Like if you carrying the whole load and your teammates are not scoring, you gotta take charge. You gotta, try to finish the game. If nobody else is hitting, like you got the hot hand, keep going. But nobody else has it. Just gotta come out with that killer instinct factor. We spoke about Ben Simmons. I'm not sure what he said about Ben Simmons, but Ben Simmons did show this playoffs that he has a lot of work to do shooting wise. In those games against the Hawks, he had like no points like in the last 5 minutes of each game. Damn near a lot of Philly fans are upset with him. They want him out the city. So I don't know what's going to happen with Ben Simmons in the off season. And Doc Rivers, he said, I forgot what he said about Doc Rivers, but Doc Rivers doesn't have a good record as coaching like the last couple game sevens, I believe. I looked it up the other day and I could read right here. All right, I got it right now. In 2009, they was up when he was on Boston. They was up against Orlando. They lost the series. 2010, sorry, Michael. The Celtics was up in the Lakers in the finals. They lost. 2012, Celtics was up against the Heat. They lost. 2013, he was on the Clippers. They was up against the Grizzlies. They lost. 2014, they blew a 15-point lead in Game 5 against OKC. Lost the series. 2015 blew a 3-1 lead to the Rockets. 2016 was up 2 against the Blazers, lost 4 straight. 17, he was on Clippers, lost Game 7 at home to Utah. 2020 blew a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets, and this year blew an 18-point lead in Game 4 and 26-point lead in Game 5, and then losing the series. Damn. Doc Rivers, that, yeah, like that was kind of like I understand what he was getting on. Doc Rivers was like, all right. Not saying Doc deserved it, but Scottie was actually talking some factual stuff on that one. But the whole KD and Ben Simmons, like, all right, leave KD alone. Like, KD carried the load. You see what he did after that Achilles injury, like I said earlier. He came out, showed that he still could, put in that work. Not too many people come back from Achilles injury and could, still have that factor. Only seen KD and Dominique Wilkins have it. It's like, all right, but Doc Rivers and Ben Simmons, I don't know, they got to figure out something.
Yeah. Tyrone?
Listen, I'm going to be as careful as possible because I love me some Scottie Pippen. Y'all know this. Mike is my all-time favorite. And number 2, second favorite all-time player is Scottie. I got a friend at my job, at my old school. He calls me Scottie Pippen because when he met me, Michael Jordan was retired playing baseball. And Scottie was my favorite player at the time because Mike wasn't there. So, he always asks you, who's your favorite player? And he calls you that. And that name stuck with me for about 27, 28 years now. Since I've known him. So he calls me Scott. I don't even respond to Tyrone. I respond to him when he calls me Scottie. So I love Scottie. I think Scottie is I want to give him a free pass on some things because listen, Scottie's had a rough year personally. You know, there's a situation with his marriage that I'm not going to get into. That's none of my business. And, you know, stuff are looking crazy right now in that situation. And then he also lost a son in May. So he's had a rough few months now. So I just want to tell Scottie, my condolences on, that. And, I'm supporting you on your situation. I see you got your new wine, your beer, your liquor and everything. So I'm happy for him with all of that. You know, he's had a rough time. So, I love you, Scottie. I just think that a lot of things he's coming out with right now, it just sounds a little bitter, towards the Last Dance. Because with the Last Dance, I get why he was upset because certain things were portrayed as him looking bad. I understand some of the things he was complaining about, but you have been on record saying and defending some of your moves that were out there on the Last Dance that you are upset about. You've defended the Kukoc thing. Now, KD threw a little shot at you saying the play was drawn up for a better shooter. That was a dig at Scottie. I get it. The point is when Phil drew the play up, and I remember the play, and I was just happy the Bulls won. I didn't look at it like, oh man, Scottie didn't get the play, this, that, and the third. I was happy the Bulls won. But if you remember, there were a couple of times during the regular season where they drew plays up for Kukoc, and he's hit the game-winning shot on, I think, about 3 or 4 occasions. So it was kind of the same play drawn up. He was supposed to be the inbounds passer and be the decoy for Kukoc. Instead, they put Pete Myers in there because Scottie refused to go in the game. So I think he was more upset that he didn't get credit for that, and Kukoc did. And the whole history with the Kukoc and Scottie and Mike, about that with the Dream Team and everything. So I get why he was upset. And the Phil Jackson racial thing, come on now. Listen, I'm very strong against racism, but not every white guy is racist, although we don't 100% know that. Sometimes you don't know what a man's thinking, but I can't, from what I've seen from Phil Jackson, I can't say he's some kind of racist. So I can't agree with that. And you had a guy like Craig Hodges, who's very outspoken, come out and say and never said anything about Phil Jackson being racist and all of this stuff. So I didn't get that part. And then finally, the stuff he was saying about Michael, because I watched the whole Dan Patrick interview yesterday, and he was really throwing Michael under the bus. And that hurt. He even brought up the point, they don't speak no more. He's not friends with him. He was basically saying, you guys go look at it yourself. He was basically saying, we were just teammates. We were never close like that, which is hard for me to believe because you guys have been invited to each other's weddings. We've seen you guys playing golf for times. You've come snuck up on him in the Charlotte game, hang out in his skybox with him. You can't say y'all weren't friends if you were doing some of these things. And Michael Jordan, to his credit, what is one of the first things he said on The Last Dance? If it wasn't for Scottie Pippen, I probably wouldn't be who I was. If you go back now, and you know me with my memory, the very first thing that came out of Michael Jordan's mouth at his Hall of Fame speech was, when you hear Michael Jordan, when you call Michael Jordan, you have to also say Scottie Pippen. So he gave Scottie his flowers. He always gives Scottie his flowers. So the way Mike, and I'll let you guys look at it yourself. He was just really getting at Mike. He was telling him that he was saying that the first retirement with the baseball, that was Michael being selfish. He was saying a lot of things, and it bothered me because I look at those two as a dynamic duo. And even, I'm not saying that they're the best friends in the world, but I was always hoping that, they still were close guys. I even with the Last Dance thing, I was just like, man, I hope they could squash that little issue with the Last Dance and everything. And I was like, to hear the way Scottie, it's like Scottie had that in him. People think that that's the book promoting the book, but I think it was just, I'm scared to say the word, but it just sounds like a bunch of jealousy that he had pent up for years and years, man. And like you have to hear the interview. It just sounded like an angry, bitter person, the way he was talking. Even one point he caught an attitude with Dan Patrick and stuff like that. And I just didn't get it. Like, this man always praises you. He always says there would not be a Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen. And for you to just dog him like that, just because he brought up things on The Last Dance, which are true. Like, you said stuff, you stood by your benching with Tony Kukoc, and you've also said, I didn't want to F up my summer in 97, and you decided to get the surgery. And I remember in 98, he missed the first 3-4 months of the season. I remember that, and the Bulls were holding on. You know, they still were one of the best teams, but they were holding on when Scottie wasn't there. Yeah. And he came back and obviously won a 6th title. So I was here. I'm looking like, and remember, Scottie wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Scottie wanted to leave, and Michael was like, no, I want Scottie here. This is who I want to play with. Like, so to see him do that with Mike, I've never heard Mike disrespect Scottie. To hear that, it just bothers me. I know people look at it, Michael's not an angel. I get it. But in this instance here, you can't say stuff about Mike like that the way he talked about you. I just didn't like it. And I still love him and I still support him. It's just I didn't agree with a lot of things he said. I'm not gonna throw ill will or shade at Scottie because I love me some Scottie, but I just didn't like a lot of things he was saying.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I didn't see the whole interview, and I probably won't watch it. But like,
it's a 16-minute interview. Nah, you should. Just
I might check it out. But
it's gonna make you upset. But
I know. But I mean, I look at it like this, like, and like you said, you hit the nail on the head. It's like a little bit of jealousy. You know, everybody look at Michael Jordan being the GOAT, greatest player of all time. You know what I'm saying? The reason why the Bulls won the championships. And let's be honest, like, yes, it's a team game, and then you need to have other members of the team be good to play and win. But the real reason why the Bulls won was with Michael Jordan. They had a chance to win without him, and he didn't. Right? Period. When he came, he was that guy. And I think Scottie Pippen is mad about it because people looked at him differently from The Last Dance and what he said. Now, like you said, he doubled down on it. He was legitimately, he had the chance to speak about it and not say anything about it. And he spoke about it, and he kept all of that the same. So for me, I don't understand why he's making it into a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And I do feel bad about it because, like I said before, it just shows you how, you know, the time has changed. You know, how people look at you when, you know, you're the big guy on campus, if you will. And Scottie Pippen, unfortunately, will always be remembered as being a quote-unquote teammate, or if you want to say a Robin to Michael Jordan's Batman. And I know he doesn't like that. And that's probably why he came out and said that. But switching gears real quick, because we have a few minutes left. These playoffs, man, they've been nice. I mean, I haven't watched any games since the Nets, and I've been catching like highlights here and there. But it's just nice to have like a new feel of these teams. You know what I mean? See something else in these conferences as opposed to watching, you know, the same old guys, the same old teams compete. So, real quickly before we wrap, just give me your take on how you guys feel about these playoffs so far.
I like it, even though Brooklyn's not in it, but I saw something on Instagram the other day. They said history will be made for like these 4 teams that's left. Like, all right, you know, these teams have it's been a long time since they won an actual championship. Clippers never won. They finally got to the conference finals for the first time. It's really interesting to see, and I honestly think Phoenix is going to take it all if you know they keep playing the way they're playing. I think they got a chance to complete the whole thing, unless the Clippers come back and win this series, or you know, try to even it up at least. But I think Phoenix gonna win it all.
I think maybe Phoenix and Milwaukee right now. So
yeah, I think it might be Phoenix and Milwaukee.
Well, you guys be careful with these Clippers now.
Yeah.
And Chris Paul even admitted it the other day. He said, "I don't want to hear nothing about 3-1."
3-1.
And you see what they just did last night. The Clippers could easily have won the series in 5 games if you really think about it. Between the lob with Ayton, also in Game 4, they missed a lot of free throws, and that came down to the wire. Game 1 came down to the wire, and that was without Chris Paul. No Kawhi. It's funny. They won 2 games in this series, and they came when Chris Paul played. but yet the 2 games that Chris Paul didn't play, they didn't win. That's kind of funny. Yeah. And then they lost game 4, but that was real close. I'm not ruling out the Clippers, man. They got to go now and go back to Staples and try to beat them again in Staples Center. Yeah. And then, in game 7, anything can happen. Yeah, exactly. So, and these Clippers, they're deep enough. Like, yes, Kawhi is a huge loss, but don't get it twisted. They're deep enough. As you can see, they eliminated the Utah without Kawhi. That was the best team in the Western Conference. They did that without Kawhi Leonard. Yeah. So, saying about the Clippers, you guys gotta watch out for the Clippers. Even though they were down 3-1, you see how they played today.
Yeah.
I mean, not today, but last night, Paul George had a great game, and I think one of the 4th Clipper to score 40 in a playoff game. So, shout out to Paul George and his big night.
Yeah.
So I think the Clippers are built without Kawhi to catch up to Phoenix. Because I think people underestimate that roster with Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris Sr., even Boogie. Yeah. Boogie is still a good basketball player. I don't care what anybody say. Boogie can still play. He's just had a couple of bad breaks with injuries. But they have enough. And they did it last night without Zubac. And Zubac been killing in that series.
Yeah. So
the fact that Zubac wasn't there and they still pulled that off is a good thing. I think they could go to LA and win game 6, and then game 7, anything could happen.
Yeah.
As far as the East goes, tough break for Atlanta losing Trae Young tonight.
Yeah.
In game 4. They have no chance if they don't have Trae Young. If Trae Young comes back, I think they could get another game, even 2. Maybe that could go 7 also. They had a good run. I think they have a piece. They're missing another piece, another veteran presence, and I think they could be a championship contender. I think they showed that they could play, with the top teams in the East.
Yeah.
As you can see, they took out Philly. So let's give our props to the Hawks, but I think Milwaukee's gonna get through to this one. I think it might go 6 games. It might even finish off in 5. But I think as long as Trae Young's out, they're not winning another game.
Yeah.
They're not winning another game. So I think the East might be wrapped up if Trae Young misses time, and he has a bone bruise. So that's not a good look.
Bruise. Yeah. And bone bruises take some time to heal, especially in the ankle joint. And it's like, it's going to take some. Even if he does come back, he's going to be limited in his mobility. Because I had a bone bruise in my knee. And it was tough. Like the first couple of weeks, I couldn't do nothing. Like it was just really swollen and it hurts a lot. And then, these games are so rapid. And I know they got top of the line treatment, top of the line doctors, but to say that he could come back and at least play like similarly to what he was doing, it's going to be tough. And that's why it goes to show you with the playoffs, man. It's like you have to have a skilled team and you also have to have luck because injuries happen. Like some teams got healthy right in time. The only healthy team right now is Milwaukee. Everybody else is injured. You know what I'm saying? You got Kawhi missing.
Phoenix
got Chris Paul, but like Devin Booker got a broken nose. Chris Paul still got that shoulder injury.
Yeah, but they're playing. That's the thing.
No, I get it, but they're playing. It's just like James Harden was playing, but it still wasn't the same. You know what I mean? So I'm saying
James Harden was hurt.
But that's what I'm saying is like people are hurt and still playing. Now, don't get me wrong, everybody's hurt. I'm not saying that there's no players that's not hurt. I'm just saying that there's some level of hurt where you can still play and be productive, and there's others where it's like, nah, you can't play. And right now, Milwaukee is the only team where all of their guys, except for the guy who got hurt, main pieces, are still good. And they can still play. Yeah, he's hurt. But other than that, their main pieces are straight, and they can still compete. So for me, I'm like, look, man, I think Milwaukee's going to run away with it, especially that Trae Young's not playing tonight. Now, if the Atlanta Hawks win tonight, then I don't think Milwaukee has a chance at this point because they lose to this team without Trae Young. Then I don't know. But I mean, I think they got punched in the face game 1. They smacked them game 2. Game 3 was a nail biter, and they was able to pull it off. And that's because Trae Young didn't play. That's some parts of it too. So they're a well-coached team. The Atlanta Hawks overachieved this year because I thought they'll get bumped second round. They overachieved and they putting in that work. And it just makes me upset because I know the Nets are to make quick business of these cats, and now they're not playing. So it is what it is. But it should be interesting to see. I do believe that the Phoenix Clippers game will be tough, but I think like Devin Booker and like those guys going to pull it off. I think like this is their time. No disrespect to the Clippers. I do believe the Clippers do well, and I understand what Chris Paul is saying because look, you see behind Hollister, he got dropped, and he'd been on teams where they were up 3-1 and lost series, and got out coached and lost games, and he just had a series of bad luck. I think this is like the furthest. Now this is not even the furthest. This is the second furthest he made it. You know what I'm saying? In his career, so he never made it to the final. So we'll see what happens, and it just like you said, all 4 teams going to be a new set of teams that's going to make it to the final. So either way, it's going to be history made. Whoever wins this playoffs and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I might start watching some of the games like a little bit sooner. I'm just letting this kind of play out. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, it's like I want to see the finals and see who's going to be there and play it. And I catch some of these games, but that's about it. But unless you guys have anything else to add.
Congrats to Ime Udoka, Jason Kidd, Chauncey Billups.
Yes.
I want to throw a shout out in the boxing world. Gervonta Tank Davis. He fought a hell of a fight the other night. He was in one of the toughest fights he ever had, and he pulled it off with the body shot for the KO.
Nice.
Tank Davis, one of the nice rising stars. He's under the Floyd Mayweather brand. He's gonna be a big star, man. So shout out to Tank Davis on that.
That's what's up. Congratulations to him. Got a lot of different things in fight news. I think maybe next podcast when we have more people.
We gonna get in. Because Fury Wilder 3 coming up, and I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say about that.
Me too.
I got a lot of info and a lot of things to say about that.
So maybe Saturday we can talk.
I know.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Well, the fight is on the 24th. So around like maybe the week before, the day before, we could get into it. So I got a lot to say about that.
Yeah. That's good. So, I mean, we got some topics to talk about. You just like a nice little quick one that we kind of get the juices flowing again. We down a couple of people. Menelik is out, and Mustafa, he's probably, hit or miss sometimes. But now we got Olympics coming up.
Coming up. So, I'm an Olympic fanatic. So I can't wait to talk Olympics. Proud for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. So we're going to have some stuff coming down the pipeline. But thanks again, everybody, all the subscribers and new subscribers. Thank you so much. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. It really does help the channel grow. I really do appreciate the support. We all do. Please let us know any other topics you would like us to speak on, anything else you would like us to cover. Give us some critiques and some feedback on the content that we do put up. Maybe different styles of videos, or if you want us to do different, styles of presenting, just let us know so we can make this thing better. Leave a comment, you know what I'm saying, and share the videos, you know what I'm saying. It really does help. Really do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and God bless.